Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is coming from Buck Pond Campground. I am on my favorite site here, and it's always good when I get my favorite site. It has been a glorious weekend of adventures, but this video is a campground review of the DEC campground, Buck Pond. Follow along. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If this is your first time watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below to continue to follow my adventures. But today is a campground review of the Buck Pond DEC campground. Now, I score my campgrounds in 5 different categories. They are inner roads and sites, facilities, those bathrooms and showers, amenities, what do they have to offer, staffing, is the staffing doing their job, does the place look pretty decent, and then price point. Each of those gets a 0 to 10 score, with 10 being the best. And at the end, I divide by 5, and that is the final grade. So let's get right into it. Buck Pond DEC Campground. It's in the northwest corner of the Adirondacks, up in a little hamlet named Anchayota. It's a very rural campground, and the driveway in, when you pull in, is about 6/10 of a mile in before you get to the booth to check in. Now, it has 4 loops, A, B, C, and D loop, with 115 sites total. The roads throughout most of the campground are paved roads in pretty good condition. There is areas of broken pavement. Some have gravel and some are crushed stone. Large rigs can maneuver around the campground pretty well, because in the loops, it's a narrow road, but it's a one-way around the loop. They have sites for large RVs, then they have tent sites. This site here is site 108. It is my favorite site here, and my rig is 26 feet long, and I was able to back it in here pretty easily. Level from tire to tire, I was off by 1 inch, and from nose to tail, the site was pretty level. Now, each one of the sites only has a fire pit and a picnic table. There are no hookups at this campground, so there's no water, electric, or sewer at each site. And some sites are close to the water, while some sites are further back in the woods, like this one. A lot of the sites have a lot of privacy on each side, but there are some sites close to the water that you could be able to see your neighbor and probably hear them too. So the sites, easy to get into. Big rigs can move around here pretty easily. So for inner roads and sites, I give Buck Pond Campground a 7.0. Facilities. Now, since there are no hookups at the site, that is electric, water, and sewer, there are water spigots in each loop. Each loop has at least 1 water spigot. The loop I'm in is the smallest loop, so we only have 1 water spigot here. There's also a dump station where you can dump your RVs on the way out, and at that dump station they do have a hose to wash things down. Each loop has its own bathhouse, and in the bathhouse has showers, both men and women's. They are behind the bathhouse. There is a sink where you can wash dishes for those that need the sink to wash dishes in, and in each one of the bathrooms, they're typical DEC, they're older, but they still work well. There's a sink with only cold water. They do have soap to wash your hands, but there's no paper towels to dry your hands. You still got to do this at the DEC campground. The showers seem to be pretty well. Water temperature was decent. They do need to do something with ventilation, and especially the bathhouse here. It's not very good. They probably need to clean the vent out a little bit. That might help the ventilation, or I wish they would just be able to open the window a little bit to get some air in there, because when it's warm and you take a hot shower, you get out, you're sweating all over again. So for facilities, it's not too bad here. They do have a trash and recycle area. There's no trash cans in the bathrooms. So for facilities, I give them a 6.5. Amenities. Okay, amenities, since this is your typical DEC campground, it is rural. They have a boat launch onto, there's 2 water bodies of water, Buck Pond and Lake Coshocton. They have the motorboat and hand launch, boat launch area onto Lake Coshocton. Buck Pond, there's no motorized boats on Buck Pond, so there's only a hand launch area on Buck Pond. There is a beach. There's a play area by the beach. There's a picnic area by the beach. They do have canoe, kayak, and paddleboard rentals. There are hiking trails here. The rail trail is right over here behind my site. And a lot of paddling opportunities. Buck Pond, Lake Coshocton, there's the Coshocton Narrows, into the Rainbow Narrows and the Rainbow Lake, and then there's Clear Pond. There's plenty of paddling. And there's mountain trails here. Little Haystack Mountain Trail is right over here also. There's fishing available in both Buck Pond and the lakes over here. So they do pretty well with amenities here. So I gave them a 7.0. Staffing. Every encounter I've had with a staff member here was a great one. Of course, it's week 1. They just opened up. This is their first weekend, and it's been a great weekend. And so they're very pleasant. They seem to be doing their jobs. The bathrooms are being cleaned. The toilets are being cleaned. They need to clean the vent zone in the shower area. They're very informative. If you stop and ask them questions, the grounds look good. They're just a bunch of good people here running this place. I gave the staffing an 8.0. Price point. Now I stayed 3 nights and it was $20 a night. Reserve America had their fee in there of $7.25. So the grand total was $67.25 for an average of $22.42 a night. Now, I think Reserve America fee is a little bit much because you do everything online. It should be more like $3.25 instead of the $7.25. And for a rural campground back here, it is a great campground, but some of the DEC campgrounds I've stayed at that are very rural, they charge anywhere from $14 to $16 a night. I think that would be more of a fair price here. So for price point, I gave them a 5. Incidentals. I have Verizon service, and there's very spotty service here. If I go down to the beach, I can send a text, but it takes it anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds to send out. You're not loading anything up. You can go into Onchayota, which is just down the road, and you may get 2 bars, but you can't load anything, you can't upload anything, download anything. So Verizon service, very sketchy here. I have 1 bar, but you can barely send a text. For stores in Onchayota, there's a little store right on the corner. You'll pass it as you come in, and it's called Camper's Pantry, and it is a neat little store. The lady that runs that, I get a kick out of her. She is a fantastic woman. They have a lot of things in there. They have a lot of antiques in there, but there's no gas there. There's just soda and water and maybe some coffee. There is a store in Gabriel's, which is about 7 miles away. It's called the Bright Mini Mart. Fantastic little store. They have a deli in there. They have a wall of coolers that has water and soda and iced tea and beer, and your twisted tea is also in there. But if you really need groceries, Saranac Lake is 16 miles away, and you can get gas there too. The Bright Mini Mart also offers gas in Gabriel's. So for the DEC campground, Buck Pond, they scored a 33.5 out of 50 points for an overall grade of 6.7. That is my review of the Buck Pond DEC campground. Alright folks, you watched all the way through. Thanks for that. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the adventure. And remember, folks, tomorrow is no guarantee for any one of us. So disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to this out here. You won't be disappointed.